likes to shuffle feel good classic rock.
Currently plays Feel Good Classic Rock on Amazon Music.
And happy Independence Day, everyone. That goes out to Representative Cori Bush. Cori Bush, what an American she is, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Thanks for choosing Cold War Radio from the Camp Vienna studio. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. This is the Steel City Resistance edition of Cold War Radio. The Cold War Radio patron hotline, 412-206-6208. Voicemail, 412-567-1460. Please visit steelcityresistance.com, where you can become a Cold War Radio patron, catch the research room, the video 2 page, which is getting a little light lately, getting a little light on the clips. If you want to check the podcast out, you can check it out on iHeartRadio. But wherever you check it out, please leave us a like if you like the show. Helps us out down the road. If you want to write to the program, write to scrtv@live.com. or write to Cold War Radio, P.O. Box 104, 33370 Castle Shannon Boulevard, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15234. All right, the virtual smoking jackets are on. Let me welcome Ward Miller to the program from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello, Ward.
Good evening, Hutch, my fellow bacon-loving insurrectionists. How's everybody doing this evening?
You get me every week with that. Hey, is the fan too loud in the background? It's hot in here.
I can't hear anything.
Outstanding. We're going to leave it right the way it is then. Might even crank this up a little bit. Happy Independence Day, Ward. I hope your weekend was as good as mine was. I had a really good weekend, and man, America's out there, baby.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I enjoyed the hell out of it. The fireworks from the city. Everybody's getting back to normal,
even above normal.
And it's not the new normal that they keep promising us. It's actually back to kind of normal, because we had fireworks and we had parades and we had people getting together for in my community, they had like races for the kids, and it was just great Americana type stuff.
It was, and they hate it, and you can tell they hate it. And one of the problems that I have with the way that the Democrats and some establishment Republicans, in order to keep power, they're just burning everything to the ground. I have no trust. Every time something happens, a conspiracy comes into my mind. I don't like being that way. I don't, but
No, it's the sad part is you're always looking for, okay, so what is this distracting me from?
Yeah, why are fireworks 3 times more expensive this year than any other year? Is it because they're trying to kill our holiday?
It could be that. Well, the price of bullets went up, so could it be a supply of gunpowder?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it comes from China.
Because the price of bullets are expensive as hell.
Yeah, that's true. The price of a lot of stuff is, but it just seemed exaggerated with the fireworks stuff that I used to pay $5-6 for. You're paying $26 for now. I mean, you look at a pack of the mortars, $350. I remember them being high, but not that high.
Well, it was funny because we went out and bought, some fireworks for the kids and stuff. And when we bought them, it was one of those little shack things that they have out by Walmart or whatever. So I go in there and the lady's ringing me up, right? And she has like a scanner. I said, I remember back when I was a kid, you had to know somebody that made trips to South Carolina.
Yeah.
To buy fireworks, and then you bought them out of the trunk of his car, and he sure as hell didn't have no barcode scanner.
Right.
And she's scanning it with a barcode, reading it on an iPad. I'm just like, wow, times have changed.
They have, man. They certainly have. I drove by a set of camps on an old mountain road the other day, and there was a payphone on the side of the road, just in the middle of the woods, man. I think it worked. Because back in the day, a cell phone, if they had cell phones, they wouldn't have worked.
Unless somebody vandalized it, those things will live forever.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one in Oakland that I know of that was there when I went to high school there. And then it was still there. The same phone was still there when I was working back there 15 years later. I mean, now all that's left is the outside thing that says it's a payphone, but there's and it's ridiculous because they left it mounted on a building, and it's just the box that it was in.
Yeah.
You know, there's no phone in there, but it says like phone on either side. So if you're in a pinch and you're like, oh, there's a payphone, thank God I haven't seen a payphone in 10 years, and it's not there, and you're like, oh man.
You remember the luxury ones like in the old hotels that had like little chairs in them, and
oh yeah,
the door was wooden and everything.
Well, that was what we had in our barracks.
Yeah, we did too. So did we. But the ones that were in the hotels were like luxury. They were like made out of mahogany it wasn't like what we had. Yeah, they were nice. It wasn't like the plywood pieces of crap that we had in the No, and guys would get drunk in the barracks and make a left instead of a right and piss in the phone booth.
Oh yeah.
Good old military memories. Yeah, this place there were more people here than I've seen since I owned this camp. I mean, on Saturday, everything out here that was related to launching a boat was filled to the max. I mean, there was cars parked out along the highway after they launched their boats or their kayaks or whatever. And, man, it was great. It was freaking outstanding. I love seeing that many people. And they were young. You know, a lot of them were young. Most of them were young.
Oh, yeah.
That's just great, man. I mean, now, the other thing that kind of messed me up here is it didn't rain. It rained for a couple days before the weekend. And it rained pretty good one day. But the river had all cleared out. And the next thing you know, here comes Saturday, a beautiful day. And Friday wasn't bad either. And the river's chocolate milk. And I'm thinking, now I know that the Corps of Engineers didn't unleash the Kinzig Dam on the same day of July 4th weekend. I know the water was not that high that they had to do that. So I asked somebody on Facebook, and they were like, well, it rained all week in New York. I'm like, yeah, but what about that big-ass dam? I don't know. I'm just filled with conspiracy theories, Ward. It happens, man. When they kill my trust in something, now I can't trust any of you. You know, that's the way I am. You know, you got to earn that back, you know.
You're gonna be the crazy conspiracy theory. Damn government.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man.
Well, no, you're right. I mean, you'd be right, but I mean,
I know.
It's so funny.
I know it is. That's why I had to bring it out there, because it's like that's the way I think anymore, and I don't like doing that. I don't like going there every single time. But anyway, we were out on our kayaks. We bought a bunch of kayaks up here, and boy, those are the new canoe, man. Those things there are like cheap and easy to use, lightweight, and they work pretty well. I mean, it's not like being on a boat, but it's close. You know, like I couldn't personally. I saw somebody standing up in one, but I would definitely be in the water if I did that. You know,
it's funny. I remember when I was a kid, they used to have. I want to say it was like on Sesame Street or something, and it was a dude in a kayak, and he was riding the rapids, and he'd take this thing and he'd roll it like barrel rolls.
Yeah,
where
you
he'd
would
go
like
underwater. Yeah, but I mean, he'd go into the water and come back out, and I'm like,
I remember that.
That's amazing.
That's not the kind of kayak I'm talking about, but it's it's close.
That's the kind of kayak you need.
Yeah, but you're like seat belted into that. You're like waterproofed in, I think. Plus, those guys wore helmets, if you remember.
Oh, hell yeah, they had to wear helmets.
Now, I'm not doing any white water kayaking. We're just doing old people kayaking. You know, floating down the river and whatnot. I mean, you got to pay attention.
Floating down the river and drinking beer.
Just floating down the river and fishing and whatnot. And my wife's reading her Kindle, and we're going down there. And I got some sun, I'll tell you that. And my shoulders, man, I am so sore. Because you got to watch some of those rapids, you know, that there are on the river are like really shallow. You don't want to hit those rocks. You know, so you gotta pay attention to where you're going, and sometimes you do have to paddle a little bit. I was trying to tie this damn lure on, and I wasn't paying attention. I looked up, and now my wife's going on the right side of the island. I'm going on the left. I'm trying to go upstream to get on the other side, and I paddled for about 10 minutes. I thought I was making some leeway, you know, but I looked over, and these people are in the same place they were 5 minutes ago. I'm like, man, I'm screw this. I'm going down the other side. But with cell phones, she
looks
called
like
me.
I'm not going upstream.
It wasn't happening, man. I thought I was, but I was treading water, buddy. Treading water. We also got to ride around in I bought a little, well, it's not that little, but a Polaris side-by-side utility vehicle. And we took that out on a couple roads, on a couple logging roads. That was pretty fun. Went about 10, 15 miles. A little four-wheeler. That was a real blast. Why did I write down wood? Wood. Why is wood on here? I don't know why wood's on here. I just don't know. Maybe I'll think of it later. But I wrote down wood for some reason.
Did you go into the wood? Oh, the price of wood.
Well, no. I think what I did was I have to get a wood cutting permit. I don't know what I got that on there for. Yeah, it is expensive. I saw some of that today. $89 for a sheet of plywood.
It's completely fucking stupid.
I know.
There's no cause for it.
It's Biden's economy, man.
Yeah, but I can't understand, why, like, wooden stuff would not, did he put some sort of a moratorium on harvesting wood, or
I know
I just don't understand
2 years ago
what the cause would be for.
2 years ago, when there were shortages, I was talking to a contractor, and he told me that all of our structural wood, not plywood, but like our structural wood, 6x6s and bigger, comes from Canada. And I know President Trump was doing a trade deal with them, and I don't know exactly what happened, but whatever happened, it's crazy, man. Look how much wood there is. There's no shortage of wood. Anybody that's trying to save wood's a jerk off. You know what I mean? Have you ever flown on a plane and looked out the window? There's no shortage of wood anywhere. Maybe in a desert.
Well, that was my question. I didn't know if he put like a moratorium on it and said you can't cut trees down because of the green initiative or some nonsense. I mean, he had an executive order saying you couldn't call COVID the China virus. I mean, he actually had an executive order that says that. And he's the guy that said that when Trump wrote for them, that he was trying to govern by fiat was his actual, and it's like, you signed 40 in 3 days. And Trump was, leading, whatever.
I wonder who's running the show. I always wonder that. That's a legitimate conspiracy theory thought.
Well, yeah, and the Brock's in there somewhere, and Valerie Jarrett's got to be
probably people we never heard of too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and then you got the Soroses that are the money people, and in fact, there's a new chick that's supposed to be Soros-like that has a lot of money, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head now. I just read about it like yesterday. And she's supposed to be the next George Soros, that she's funding all these ridiculous projects, like the...
These people must be really unhappy. They must be really unhappy with their lives. I just thought, you go through a weekend like we just did, celebrating the best country in the world, and you have all these rich people that say they're oppressed, the ones that aren't white, say they're oppressed, the ones that are white, say that white people are oppressing everybody else, none of which is true. And no, how do they get happy? What do they do to get happy? I know what some of them do. They go screw a little kid, because they're all deviants. I mean, you look in the news, and every other day there's another Democrat superstar that gets caught with kids. Yeah, it's getting rather disgusting.
Well, speaking of which, did you see that apparently this Giselle Maxwell or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it, Giselle?
Nah, you say it some goofy way. It's one of those, like, calling Prince whatever Prince was for a while. I don't know. It's
the symbol, the artist formerly known as Maxwell.
Anyway, what's up?
Apparently, she had some sort of documents that had been brought up in a previous court case that her attorneys were trying to suppress, and apparently the judge in the case said that those documents were not only admissible, they needed to be disclosed immediately.
Uh-oh.
And
she's still alive?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the documents are there. And apparently these documents implicate Bill Clinton and the Clinton Foundation in child trafficking.
Man.
So
there can't be.
Yes.
That can't be that good.
that's everything that I'm reading, man, is it's like as soon as these get released, it's going to be a complete shitstorm for the Clintons.
You got to wonder what that Garland.
Nicer people.
What's that Garland going to do? I mean, when you get confronted with something like that, is he going to let him get covered by the grandfather clause or something? I don't know, man.
Well, Hunter Biden's still walking the streets.
They saw some. They released some emails from his laptop that said that he was advocating for a prostitutes union.
He's the next Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh man, that guy's a nut.
That's what he is. He's the next Jimmy Hoffa. Instead of the truckers, he's going to get the hookers.
There it is. So the weekly question, Ward. What's your outlook? How you feeling, man? What's going through your mind? What's in the future?
Like I said, man, I'm feeling really good, especially after this past weekend. I see a lot of positives. People are coming out of their shells and they're out of their houses, and it's, not the COVID gloom and doom that we had last year, at the same time. I'm kind of optimistic, I guess.
I am too.
I'm not optimistic about the government because I think that Joe Biden and the rest of those morons are, monkeys screwing a football. But other than that, the American people, it's one of them things where, okay, you're going to push us and then we're going to come back. Right now, they're not pushing. We're not pushing. Everybody's happy. I say it's going to be good to go.
I think you're right, man. I do. I especially love the way people came out. Like you said, I haven't seen the only people that I've seen with masks are people that are forced to wear them at work, and half of them have them below their nose.
Yeah. Some of the people I do advocate them wearing masks because they're quite ugly.
Yeah, that's true. But I went to Burger King a week ago, and there was a woman in there, and she didn't have her mask on working there. And it was the first time I saw that. I was, oh man, it's great to see your face. I'm glad you guys got to finally take your masks off because we got to take them off before them. And man, She went on, and I told her, I said, never again. Don't ever let them do this again. I say that to everybody when I'm talking about this.
Oh, yeah.
But she had these freaking acne under her eyes, Ward, that was caused. She's telling me this, that this is caused by the mask, that she never had this before that. And I'm like, it was nasty looking too.
We are not built to inhale our exhaust.
No.
I mean, and I've said that from the beginning.
It's
just further proof that, what do you know, Wardy's right.
So, it's Independence Day 2021, Ward, and the Democrats come clean with their America hatred. Representative Cori Bush, by the way, Cori, that Madison Rising national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, was just for you, you freaking pig. She doubled down Sunday after deeming Independence Day a celebration of freedom for white people only, claiming black people still aren't free, while calling to end police violence and the healthcare, housing, and education apartheid. When they say, these are her tweets, when they say the 4th of July is about American freedom, remember this. The freedom they're referring to is for white people. This land is stolen land, and black people still aren't free. The death penalty, private prisons, ICE, the filibuster, all of these uphold and protect white supremacy and need to be abolished. Well, Cori and anybody else who thinks like you, get the hell out.
Well, what I'd like to say to Cori Bush is point me at one black person that is still enslaved, that is not part of the Democratic Party, and I'll buy that. The only slaves that are still around are the ones that still believe the crap that the Democrats are throwing around. They're the ones that are still living on the plantation.
If you want to see racism,
Democrat plantation.
It's easy to find racism. Just go into a ghetto if you're white and see what happens. And if you're black, go through a white neighborhood and see what doesn't happen. I'll show you where the racists are. You're the freaking racist, Corey. I went to Pittsburgh public schools. I know. I saw it firsthand. You know, don't give me that shit. I'm not buying it. I'm not going to, promote it from my side because I don't have time for that. If you suck, you suck. You listen to what she said. She wants to get away with everything that they do, certain people in the community. She wants to get rid of the death penalty. Why? Private prisons. ICE. Don't ask me why the filibuster's in there, just because it's convenient, I guess.
Well, no, that's racist, too.
It probably is. Police violence. Do police come out and get violent just by themselves? Education, apartheid. Have you seen how some people in the black community act in public schools? I have. I remember you talking about it too.
Oh, yeah.
It's out there. It happens. Get real, folks. Get real. And, some more things going on when it comes to racism and freedom and whatever. Just look at what's happening in Chicago.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
It's the Chicago Report with Ward Miller. Yay!
Chirac, go!
At least 82 people have been shot, 14 of them fatally, since 5 p.m. on Friday in a violent holiday weekend in Chicago. In shooting violence over Independence Day weekend in 2019, at least 68 people were shot, 5 fatally on the holiday weekend. In 2020, nearly 80 people were shot and 15 killed. One of those shot was 14-year-old Verando Jones. July 4th is the anniversary of his death. The FBI is still offering $25,000 reward for anyone who has information or for conviction on the killers.
Boy, but they got everybody else on the radar, but not him, huh?
No, I guess not. He's still on the run.
I saw another report that talked about all or several Democrat-controlled cities. It's like 500 this weekend. It's a lot, man. It's going up in other cities, too. I don't know how Pittsburgh
did. Sure. Pittsburgh wasn't bad. I mean, I don't think there might have been 1 or 2 shootings, but I mean, it wasn't like there's nowhere like this. This is just
no.
Off the chain, ridiculous. Well, I saw an interview where somebody asked her a question and said, "Don't you think all this, racial rhetoric that you chomp about isn't what's causing some of this violence?" And he said, "At what point are you going to accept the blame for some of this? Because this is you, stirring up the pot." And she completely, no, that's not what's happening. You're just attacking me because I'm a black woman.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Chicago Mayor Lightfoot says 99% of the criticism she receives is because she is a black woman. Even though she's married to a white woman.
In the interview.
She's married to a white woman. It's not a pretty picture.
Well, maybe that's where she's getting all the criticism from.
I don't know. It's crazy. It really is. You get tired of hearing it, though, Ward. I think they've ruined. If there ever is another outbreak of racism, they're not going to have a whole lot to fight with. These people that are calling this, because it's like not even. It doesn't even faze me anymore.
That's what we had talked about this before. The term itself has gotten so watered down that it's not shocking anymore. It used to be if you were called a racist,
yeah, he's a
racist, and it was a shocking thing. Now it's everybody's I'm a racist because I disagree with a Democrat. Yeah. So I mean, it's
I'm a racist because I talk about stuff,
Exactly. So it doesn't have the weight and the power that it used to have. I mean, it's just. It's almost become a non-word because
they couldn't even remember.
They've used it so much for everything that everything is racist. Whether cans are racist, and Coke is racist.
That's why they went to white supremacist, because that was the same way. That was a word that you did not want to hear, and man, now
and
it's like doesn't even mean shit anymore.
Exactly. You called me what?
I know.
What the hell is
What
that?
am I in San Quentin or what? I'm one of the ABs. I'm in the Aryan Brotherhood. What's going on over here?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. No, I didn't shave my head. I'm just bald naturally. Well, not all bald, just in the middle.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm a white supremacist halfway or something.
Probably.
I'm not sure the rules of the white supremacist haircut, but maybe we can get some clarification.
Wow, my door just closed on its own. That's great.
The ghost is entered.
I know. The majority of Americans who remain unvaccinated for the Chinese coronavirus do not intend to get the jab, an ABC News Washington Post survey released Sunday found. 60% of those surveyed revealed to have received at least one dose of a coronavirus vaccine, but over one-third, 38%, said they have not, and 2% refused to answer or did not offer an opinion on the matter. Good. I'll bet you half those people that said they got it never got it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there was a thing I seen going around today that says, that they're pushing for legislation to not have any kind of vaccine passport, and they shouldn't, because that's medical records. If they can't ask you if you're vaccinated against polio, they can't ask me if I'm vaccinated against this.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, whatever happened. Yeah, and the people that are bitching the most about this is the thing that gets me. The ones that are bitching the most about it are Democrats. We need this vaccine. We need this vaccine. And you're the same son of a bitches that, her rights, her body.
And the same ones that talked about Donald Trump when he was getting it through. I mean, it's like now it's you're in charge, so it's good now. But when Trump was in charge, it was the devil. I mean, you remember all that. These people think everybody's stupid. They really do. And it's not. Everybody's not stupid. They're just not paying attention.
Well, and they got a short attention span.
Right.
Nobody comes out and goes, hey, you remember when all the Democrats in the media told us hydrochloroquine was terrible and that it was bad and it didn't work? And then as soon as Biden gets elected, it miraculously has been approved? How many people died because of that?
And that's a real situation too. They did.
I'd like to know, and every now and every, I'd say 2 days now, you see Fauci coming out talking about the Delta variant and this, that, and the other thing, but he's never in a situation where somebody is going to, contest anything he says. Nobody's going to go, hey, well, what about in your email where you said, that this was happening in China, that you were paying for this virus? How about that, Dr. Fauci? Where's he's not going to go on any news show that's going to question him. That's why Jim Jordan's been doing a thing. Where's Dr. Fauci at? Is he in hiding? We're going to play Where's Waldo with Dr. Fauci because he doesn't want to come see us.
He's over at Kumo's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the guy who ought to go to prison. Kumo and Wolf and Whitmer. They all ought to go to prison for murder.
And Newsom. Newsom. The four. I mean, it should be, I mean.
And then one of the best things.
At least murder too.
One of the best things that you saw that identifies these people for who they are was freaking Nancy Pelosi getting her hair did in the middle of that stuff, right in the middle of San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. And then she ruined the lady that stopped and opened the doors for her.
I wonder what happened to her. People always get left by the wayside. I wonder what the hell happened to that woman.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you know what I just seen today, and I meant to send it to you for the show notes. Our buddy,
Moreno.
No. Shit.
Negron.
Alan.
Oh, yeah.
Alan West.
What's up with that? He's going to challenge Abbott. What did Abbott do? I mean, he must have done something to piss him off.
I don't know, but, of all the places, I mean, Abbott's actually, a pretty staunch Republican. I don't understand Alan West has on him that he decided that he was going to run. I don't, you know.
The thing that might happen, what might happen is, it might be that Alan West wants him to act more out in the front, like DeSantis, the way DeSantis is. You don't see Abbott.
Yeah.
You did before DeSantis got elected. Abbott was in there longer, I think.
Yeah.
You did see him, obviously not standing. He's in a wheelchair. I don't want to do a Joe Biden. But
yeah.
I'd like to see him get back in. I would have rather seen him in the Senate or something, but I think he realizes he can do more at the state. And I think more and more that's true, man. I think more and more the state governments need to coalesce, need to get together and fight this federal monster, because it's. Well, now, I'm not just talking about the elected officials. We need to start gutting these agencies. You know, when the freaking when the forest warden is not at work because of COVID, and everybody else is out here, and the grass is getting cut, you know, on the national park lands, but the ranger's not here. What's going on? You know, this is ridiculous. They're parasites. Now, I got some really good news coming in. Private citizens and gun rights groups are increasingly using America's court system to wage war against gun control, the San Diego Union Tribune observed. The Union Tribune pointed to District Court Judge Roger T. Benitez's June 4th, 2021 ruling against California's 30-year-old assault weapons ban. Breitbart News noted Benitez found the ban unconstitutional, citing Heller's protection for a broad swath of firearms the left wants to ban. Benitez wrote, Heller took the already expansive zone of protection for weapons that could be used by the militia and focused on the core use of firearms for self-defense. The Heller court determined that the right to keep and bear arms is an individual right held by the people and not limited, Joe Biden, by the prefatory clause, a well-regulated militia, only to the right to possess and carry a firearm in connection with militia service. The Union Tribune also points to Benitez's 2017 ruling against California's high-capacity magazine ban. Breitbart News noted Benitez's decision was appealed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit on July 17, 18. A three-judge panel from the Ninth Circuit upheld Benitez's ruling, voting 2-1 against the ban and sending the case back to Benitez. On March 29, 19, Benitez again ruled against the ban, issuing an order barring California Attorney General Xavier Becerra from enforcing the ban. After recapping Benitez's rulings, the Union Tribune highlighted 3 other suits which were filed against various other aspects of California gun control. 1. In November, a group of gun owners and advocacy groups filed a lawsuit against a new law that expanded California's handgun regulation. A portion of that law required the state to remove 3 handguns from its roster of approved handguns for sale for every new handgun added. Gun groups claimed this would inevitably whittle down the number of lawful handguns state residents could purchase. 2. A suit filed in 2019 sought to strike down restrictions on residents between the ages of 18 and 20 years old from buying firearms, contending it violated the constitutional rights of young adults. Judge James Lorenz in November rejected those claims. The case is now on appeal. 3. A lawsuit challenges a state law that limits handgun and assault-style rifle purchases to 1 every 30 days. Well, I'll tell you what, it's about time, Ward. That's some good news right there. And if you noticed, both of those 2 guys were, at least their names sounded Hispanic to me. Benitez and whatever the other guy's name was, Lorenz.
But that goes back to my thing that I've said all along is somebody needs to show me what an assault weapon is. I still don't know what that is. And if you tell me it's like an AR-15 or whatever, the only reason that would be is because it's black and that's racist. So you can't say that.
Yeah, and you know now they're trying to ban those again, the short ones. They make a quote unquote
like
pistol.
like the bullpup ones or the like
I mean,
the,
that's the shotgun,
like
right?
the Uzi.
No,
the
it's-
bullpups like the 9mm. It's just a smaller, broke down.
These are 5.56, but they're like shorter than a rifle.
Oh,
Like,
because kind of like an Uzi.
yeah, but more shaped like a rifle than just a box like that.
I'll tell you what. Anybody that would try and assault anything with an Uzi,
They're nuts.
They got brain damage to start with.
Yeah, I know.
That is definitely not an assault weapon.
I'll tell you what.
Committed assault with an Uzi.
I'll tell you the ultimate American weapon was the Thompson submachine gun, the freaking trench clearer. I mean, can you imagine an automatic weapon that's a 45 ACP? I mean,
Damn right. The only thing better than that's the A10.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true.
The 30mm cannon. Yeah, it's basically a Gatling gun for crying out loud, and it's shooting a 45 caliber round.
I mean, lead everywhere. You're getting lead poisoning in the ground, boy, with that stuff. Boy,
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
I'd love to fire one. I never got to. I carried an M3 for several years in the Army when I was a armored vehicle crewman, which is an M3 was a $95 stamped metal grease gun. It was called submachine gun, but it was 45 also. Never got to shoot it live though. For some reason, there was a shortage of 45 ammo when I was in. One time, until I got in the reserves, then it was everywhere. But in regular Army, over in the 2nd Infantry Division, 10 minutes away from freaking North Korea, we couldn't get it. You know, but
Well, and the thing was though, they wanted the officers to carry 40 or 9mm versus the 45s because they were cheaper.
I never liked the M9. I thought it sucked as a pistol. I didn't like it. I still don't like it. I like some 9mm, but I don't like that one. And I like the 45 much better. I got a 9mm, but I got two 45s. I like them better. That's what I ride around with is my 45. That's an American gun right there. I love it, and it will cut you in half. You know.
Do you got the 911 or the?
I have one
Cowboy
I have
style?
one 911, and I have a Ruger. That's not like any old. It's a modern 45, and it holds more rounds than 7. You know, it's double stacked.
But it's-
The magazine's staggered.
But is it a revolver?
No,
Or is it
no, it's
okay. So
I don't own any revolvers. That's my next thing I want to get. I just haven't got one yet. I haven't seen one I like. The one I want is actually over $1,000. I want a Python, a Smith & Wesson Python 357 Magnum
oh yeah,
with the rib sight. Remember the rib sight? Oh, I love those. man.
Uh-huh.
They're coming back with them again, or they already did.
The ones that are coming back too are the Desert Eagles.
Yeah.
Desert Eagles are making a comeback too.
Is that a
They
50 cal?
They make it up to a 50 cal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have 357, 44, and 50. And I don't know what in the hell kind of moron shoots a 50 caliber pistol because I mean,
when they
think
say
about it.
when they say 50 cal, though, Ward, it's not the same as a 50 cal that goes in a Mod Deuce. It's a smaller,
no, of course.
smaller.
But I mean, it's still 50 cal.
It is. It's
Still a
still
lot of lead,
yeah,
man.
it is. Did you ever get to fire one of those?
No,
Oh,
50
boy.
No,
Oh,
no.
boy.
Which one? The
The
Mod
M-
Deuce? Yeah,
yeah.
I fired them.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
fired one of those.
Those are nasty, boy. Woo. I fired a Mod Deuce one time, and we always used, at least in the Army, we always used to fire a round, semi-automatic round down range to heat the barrel up first. And just to
Yeah,
make
you don't
sure-
want to. Yeah, you don't want to fire that cold.
No.
Bend the barrel and all kinds of.
So we did that, but I didn't have earplugs on, man. Oh my word! I thought there was blood coming out of my ears, man. That sucker's so loud. I
Yeah, they are
took
very loud.
cigarette butts and put them in my ears. Because you had to do something, man. It's like I'm here.
Oh, I wish I had pictures.
I got
of that.
I got 500 rounds here. I'm here, and I ain't going till them rounds are gone. I got to do something, you know. So that's what I did. Another time, I blew up an M2. I almost got killed. I was up on the DMZ because all of our ranges. I wasn't on DMZ duty. I was in air defense artillery, but we went up to the DMZ to shoot our crew served weapons, our M60s and our Mod Deuces. And I was new to the unit, and I was an E2, I think, and the E3 or the E4 that was in my vehicle obviously outranked me a little bit, knew a little bit more than me. So I let him adjust the headspace and timing on the M2, and then he took off he couldn't get it right. With all you did was turn the barrel in and out to get it right. You screwed it all the way in and you screwed it out 3 clicks, and then you started with the gauges. But there's another adjustment behind the base plate, the hand plate where the triggers are. So he took that off and he made the adjustment and put it back on. And I should have made him fire it. You know what I mean? But I didn't. I wanted to fire so damn bad. I'm like, I'll do it. So I went in there and I fired it once to get it. It was cold as hell. It was like 0 degrees out. I fired it once. And then I was, I'm going to do that one more time. And I fired it a second time. And you're sitting with it on a tripod. Your feet are up on the feet of the legs of the tripod. And you're laying back firing at these dead tanks downrange. And the second time I fired it, it sounded different. And I got a spray on my face. And I'm like, what the hell? We had sprayed brake-free, oil in the bolt. Yeah. And I looked up, and behind me, I hear this lieutenant screaming, "Ceasefire! Ceasefire!" What the hell is he screaming about? And I looked down at my feed tray, and my feed tray was gone. It blew the feed tray off, and it was behind me, so it went right. It almost shaved my face off because it went right past me, and the spray was the oil hit me, and I didn't have my M2 for like 6 more months after that. I was driving around on my track with an M60 on the top. Anyway, little inside baseball stuff because we like talking about that kind of stuff, especially on Independence Day weekend. Dozens of women, listen to this, after Joe Biden is now in office and has declared the date we're leaving, and well before the date, evacuated Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan before anybody knew. They just left. It's being looted now, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, like you didn't expect that to happen. But dozens of women in Firozkoh, the capital city of Afghanistan's central Ghor province, took up arms. And imagine that, Muslim women taking up arms and marched on Sunday to show their defiance against the advancing Taliban. The women said they would support public mobilization militias standing up even as Afghan army units surrender without a fight or flee before the Taliban onslaught. They are standing by their brothers and are supporting the system, the people, and the country's sovereignty, an admiring resident of Ghor told Afghanistan's Tolo News as the women marched through the provincial capital, some of them toting heavy weapons and rocket grenades. Can you imagine that, man? I mean, Afghan women, that's some courage right there.
That's completely insane. Because, in that, especially in that part of the world,
yeah,
that usually doesn't end well. I mean, hell, that little girl just wanted to go to school and they shot her in the face.
Remember when the Taliban first showed up and they were blowing all those Buddha things out of the mountain, and they had like Mount Rushmore looking stuff on their mountains, and they blew them up. They were kind of like Democrats. They'd blow up Mount Rushmore if they could, and they put the freaking Public Enemy up there or something.
Well, I mean, you look at what they did after George Floyd. I mean, they're putting up statues of him, and he was a drug dealing
scumbag.
Yeah, he was a complete criminal. Let's worship this criminal,
and that's what they're doing.
Died.
That's what I mean. Why do you think they want to get rid of the police? And they want to get rid. They want to be able to just be the criminals that they are. They want to have no consequences to being uncivilized, and it's not just black people.
No.
It's not.
It's the Democrats themselves and whatnot. But I don't think that they realize what would happen if they defund the police, because at that point, everything becomes, a capital offense. Yeah. You break into somebody's house, they're just going to shoot you. It's not going to be, hey, I'm going to call the cops. I'm going to, boom, dead.
I was talking to two veterans on the river the other day, and I don't think that, I was thinking about this earlier. I don't think these Democrats realize how freaking pissed off we are. And it's not a burning your car pissed off. It's a cold anger like Sundance at the conservative treehouse talks about. When you see somebody come into the grocery store and they've got 4 carts. I saw this yesterday or 2 days ago at Walmart. I saw 4 women in there with 4 full shopping carts. And you look at these women and you're going, No, they didn't earn that much money. There's too much shit in those carts. You know, I've never bought that much food in my life. I don't know what's going on here. But when you see that, and his reference was when you see somebody buying 16 lobster tails with an EBT card, you get a cold anger that starts. You're not going to go out there and do anything. It's just building up inside you. I don't think they realize what they're doing in this country, especially to, and I'm going to say it, normal Americans. Normal, I don't really care what color you are, but right now we're messing with the white guy. You know, it's been other people at other times, but the white Christian, heterosexual, working man is all of a sudden getting bombarded for what, the last 5 years? You know, and it's just... Oh,
no, it's not even longer than that. You look at like the gay pride parades. I mean, it used to be, okay, there's going to be a gay pride parade. Now they have a whole damn month. Now, here's my issue with that. I mean, I don't have... If two guys want to, you know, Steve and Billy want to get married, whatever. I don't care. Don't put it in my face. I'm cool with it. That's the way I look at it. You ain't coming on to me. You want to do whatever you do, go ahead. I don't care. It doesn't impact me.
Clean up after
my point is, why do they have to have a parade and put it in my face? You know, and the thing is, it's not okay. We're proud that we're gay. No, we're proud that we're going to wear whips and chains and bondage gear and dance in the streets.
And we want your kids to be gay.
And they wonder why people don't take them serious. Why does this movement not getting any traction? Because you're retarded. When you go out there and you dress as, you know, you dress in bondage gear, and then you go, why aren't people taking us seriously? We need to have a whole month of people looking at us now.
I always think of Vito, man, when we start talking about
exactly with the bondage gear and the leather hat.
Oh man, and the chaps and whatnot. Oh yeah. So we'll come back to that. Students on the campus of, man, my dad would be rolling in his grave right now. Students on the campus of Georgetown University said they are not proud to be an American when interviewed shortly before the 4th of July holiday, adding that they would give up their American citizenship. The students, however, were unable to name a better country than the United States, because they're basically stupid, most of them. With Independence Day just around the corner, campus reforms of Felly Jacobson went to Georgetown University to ask students if they feel proud to be an American. No, one student said. I feel embarrassed to be an American every day. I think a lot of things about this country are really embarrassing. Just like, racist history, colonization, even currently, just what's going on with politics and the cops. Not really in this climate. Like, I'm a black person, so obviously I experience a lot of, there's like oppression that comes with that, another student answered. Oh, really? And you're at Georgetown University, and you're being oppressed? Yeah, I don't think so.
You can afford to go to Georgetown, and yeah, it's ridiculous. And the thing is, it's being perpetrated by the colleges.
It is.
The colleges are telling them you're oppressed,
and they're worthless. These people. Let's get this right. This faculty is as worthless as public school teachers. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are doing a magnificent job, but by and large, the organization is rotten. All you have to do is look at your products. Look at what's out there. You've got kids, American kids, that never missed a meal, never got shot at, never saw a buddy die, never been anywhere, and they hate the country. They don't even know the world. They've never seen the world. That gets me. It does. It really does.
I said that before. I think that, in this case, Russia got it right. When they graduate school, they got to do 2 years in the military.
Right.
That 2 years in the military, that might make you love your country a little bit.
It might.
When you're doing push-ups and running, and that's the only thing that you think of, maybe that'll help. Instead of going and being indoctrinated by people who hate the country.
Maybe miss a couple meals.
And try and teach you to hate the country.
Miss a couple meals, sleep outside in the cold. How about that? How about it's raining, too? That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
to get you.
Had a good driving cold rain on top.
Yeah, damn right. And a 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning road march. With your wet socks. Go ahead, man. Try that. Representative Thomas Massey says that he's been contacted by members of our voluntary military who say they will quit if the COVID vaccine is mandated. It's mandatory right now in the U.S. military. I introduced H.R. 3860 to prohibit any mandatory requirement that a member of the armed forces receive a vaccination against COVID-19. It now has 24 sponsors. I'm for that. And I don't have a problem with the non-political vaccinations required by the U.S. military. This is a completely political bullshit show.
Absolutely. I mean, it was different when they said, okay, you have to get an anthrax inoculation. Well, our enemies were known to use anthrax. That made sense. There's no proof that this thing works.
No, Fauci's saying that you have to still wear your mask after you're vaccinated.
And that's my point, though. There's still zero empirical evidence that this works. There was the New York Yankees got the vaccine all at the same time, and 7 of them ended up with COVID. It doesn't stop anything. There's no proof that getting this injection prevents anything.
Nope, I agree.
And to mandate it, my point is, if they say, well, you can't go on a cruise if you don't got it, well, then screw them. I ain't going on a cruise. You can't go here if you don't have this passport, then I won't go there.
We're going to lose good people out of the military, and that's probably what they want. My conspiracy hat,
Yeah, well, I mean, the dudes that can think and go, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be a lemming and let you inject me with something that's experimental. I don't even think there was an animal testing phase. I don't think that they had time for it.
They should have got some Chinese and tested them. No, I shouldn't say that. They started it, though. What the hell? Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Cold War Radio with Ward Miller and Hutch Bailey Jr. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
He was executed for WWB in a GC, walking while black in a gated community.
When, boy? When are you going to get your act together?
Gross.
Oh, good God almighty me. I think he's the Antichrist. Anthony, I want to talk to you. Now listen, don't walk away from me when I'm talking to you. You get a goddamn job before sundown, or we're shipping you off to military school with a goddamn Finkelstein shit kid. Son of a bitch.
I told you, I don't see how this works.
Well, we're gonna figure it out.
We don't have anything to arrest him on.
Then we're gonna make something up.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm enlightened.
Del Rio's got a clean sheet. That's why they use him to travel back and forth. We can't touch him.
Jesus, Trevor, what fucking box factory are you working in?
The same one that'll take away your badge if you try to make a bust without cause.
You need to stop worrying about the law.
That's a joke, right?
Right now, the only things that matter are leverage and perception.
How do you figure?
We need to get Marty Byrde on anything so that he knows he has no other choice than to turn on Del Rio and the cartel.
I understand fucking leverage, Roy.
So, perception. If we drag Del Rio in here on anything, it doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It doesn't have to stick so long as we know that he sees that we're holding Marty Byrde, too.
Then Del Rio will get spooked.
Yeah. And Marty will know he has to cooperate for protection. Otherwise, he's a dead man.
Let's talk about another beauty. Willard Mitt Romney. Now, I want you to understand something. It was Willard Mitt Romney's comment yesterday, his tweet or whatever it was, that, and the only reason I'm going there, Mitt, because you started it. Mitt, you had to go there. All the insults you made about the President of the United States, put all that in back of us. You know, he interviewed you for Secretary of State. Everything's fine. But no, Judge Moore's got to run. You got to jump in here. Honor, what did he say yesterday? Honor and integrity? Honor and that Judge Moore lacked honor and integrity. And that's why he couldn't vote for him, right? Couldn't support him. Couldn't support him. Judge Moore is a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. Judge Moore served his country in one of the toughest wars we've ever had, Vietnam. And he went over there for his country, his state, and his family. Mitt, that's honor and integrity. And by the way, Mitt, while we're on the subject of Vietnam and honor and integrity, you avoided service, brother, right? You served. Okay, Mitt, here's how it is, brother. Now the college deferments, that's we can debate that, but you hid behind your religion. You went to France to be a missionary while guys were dying in rice paddies in Vietnam. Do not talk to me about honor and integrity. And now I'm going to get personal. You ran for commander-in-chief. You had 5 sons. Not one day of service in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have 7,000 dead and 52,000 casualties. And where were the Romneys during those wars? You want to talk about honor and integrity, brother? Bring it. Bring it down here to Alabama. You have the guts to get on the stage. You have the guts to get on the stage of a man that served in Vietnam, and you expect us to believe honor and integrity? Judge Roy Moore has more honor and integrity in that pinky finger than your entire family has and his whole DNA. And you know why he's on Judge Moore. He's still bitter about Donald Trump. Embrace it, Mitt. He is President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, something you so miserably failed at.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening to Cold War Radio. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., your host. My co-host, the esteemed Ward Miller, from the other side of town from me when I'm normally in Pittsburgh. If you want to call the show, 412-206-6208, and we will open up a line for you. How did you sign in on this episode, Ward? Your thing is all big, man. Did you sign in with your camera or something? Or that sucker's long.
Apparently my camera was on initially.
I got it.
And when I turned it off, and it just never went back to my picture.
Okay. I hope other callers can fit in here. We'll find out in a minute, I imagine. So give us a call. Let us know. Several women on the U.S. soccer team on Monday turned away from the U.S. flag as 98-year-old World War II veteran Pete Dupre, that's a accent grave or accent aigu, I don't know, I think it's Dupre, played the national anthem on a harmonica. The U.S. women's soccer team is playing against Mexico in East Hartford, Connecticut, in a pre-Olympic send-off game before heading to Japan. So apparently several of these women turn away from the flag. I think they ought to just disband the team when that happens. Isn't there anybody left that runs American sports that could put some manners on these children? I mean, how can you do that, Ward? How can you? It's a national embarrassment. We should not allow this to happen. People should be mad about this.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
it's not even an American sport, for Christ's sake.
Well, the thing is, our tax dollars pay for them to go to the Olympics. That pays for them to train for the Olympics, and then this gives them a platform to be jackasses. I mean, and it started with that purple-haired chick from I can't even remember his name. Whatever. But he started it.
Yes, he did. He's an ugly dude too. Ugly dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But then this other chick that did the hammer throw.
Oh, yeah.
Now, she turns her back on the flag and actually has the gall to say she was set up.
And
so
2 years ago, she's doing photo shoots in front of the flag.
Exactly. Exactly. Because, I mean, they think that this is going to give them their 15 minutes of fame. And it will. I mean, everybody knows, who I can't name the chick.
We forgot her name already, though. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Everybody's going to go, hey, remember the chick that threw the hammer that came in third that, turned her back on the flag? Yeah, she's a bitch. Yep. Next. And
what about that one?
That's how you're going to be remembered in history there, sweetheart. That's a bitch.
The one was, the nastiest one was somebody that was on an HBO series. She was a fat, nasty looking chick. Way too young to be that
Laura
way.
Dunham.
Yeah,
Laura
what an
Dunham.
ugly prick. Oh, my God. I can't believe that she did. I mean, she took pictures naked on the toilet, man. And I mean, it not a pretty picture. I mean, nightmare material.
It goes back to a lot of these people that do that stuff just crave attention.
Yeah, that's true.
And the more attention that they can get, so, and it's the like the hammer chick. Ain't nobody knows anything about throwing no hammers other than carpenters.
I'll tell you what, I saw a Hodge Twins routine on that, and it was so damn funny because she was on the podium with two other women. She won third place.
Yeah, she came in third. I mean, it's not even like you won.
Right, but first and second place, the women were dressing out at about 300. You know what I mean? And she was like 100-something. Or 150.
Yeah, they could have snapped her with no problem.
The Hodge Twins, they're like, if you want to throw a hammer, you got to look at these people. You got to eat, man. You can't get out there. You're going to get third place. It was funny.
And the thing is,
those guys are hilarious.
You're not going to get the svelte people to be hammer throwers. It's like, okay, you're kind of a fat guy, and we understand you want to be in field, in the track and field.
Hammers
scheme,
for the guys who couldn't run.
Exactly. You're entirely too fat to run. So here's a hammer. Just throw it as far as you can.
And by the way, here, sling this 10-pound ball bearing too. This shot put.
Well, if you're going to throw
don't throw it. Push it.
Just throw a whole bunch of shit.
Oh my goodness. Let's go to the phone. Let's go to Marlene in Eugene. What's going on, Marlene? I've got you on my screen. No problem.
Hey. Oh, well, good grief. You're talking about the Olympic trials, and the sad part is it was held here in Eugene at Hayward Field.
Did you go show up? Were you there?
Oh, hell no. No. No, I didn't, I kind of stayed away from all that. I suppose I could have gone over there, but I just really wasn't into it.
I might have went and saw that. I mean, I wouldn't wear a mask,
maybe.
So they probably wouldn't let me.
Oh no.
To me, that's like being a part of history. Honest to God.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe not the pre-stuff, but I mean to say, okay, I saw what's her name, Simone Biles. I seen Simone Biles, in her pre-elect,
was that the gymnastics?
Thing. Yeah, that's the gymnastics.
They were phenomenal. My wife was watching that.
Super badass, man.
Is that the black girl?
Yeah.
She's powerful, man. Wow.
She's completely badass.
Yeah, she is.
And it's one of them things where you say, I saw her before she went to the Olympics and won the Olympics and was declared the best in the world.
Yeah.
And that's and that's the part that these people are missing. You're getting a chance to compete to be the best on this planet at whatever stupid thing you do. If you throw a hammer, if you do curling, if you do whatever, you're competing in the name of the United States to be the best on the planet, and you're going to turn your back and be like that for a little bit of fame. Yeah, Nike will give you a contract, and that'll be
and that, you know, if you do well, if you do well, and you win, like Bruce Jenner, you know, he's 20 years old, wins a decathlon, and he's 70 years old, and he gets to chop a dick off of me, and everybody still knows who he is. You know?
Yeah.
Well, everybody knew who he was even before the transtestical surgery or whatever.
Right.
That's true.
But honestly, because he was a hero, because he was the best on the planet at what he did. And everybody on the planet knew who he was. And that's the kind of thing that these people don't grasp. You know, Michael Phelps, everybody knows who he is.
Go back before him. Go back before him, Mark Spitz.
Mark Spitz.
Oh, I remember Mark. Yes, I remember
exactly.
Mark.
He made Speedos famous.
I know.
That's the thing. If you look at these people, you know, that we're calling out, Mary Lou Retton, all these American heroes that everybody knows their name because they were at one point the best on the planet. And
freaking Jim Thorpe.
Like this
Jim Thorpe was half American Indian, and there's a town named after him in central Pennsylvania, north central, in coal country. Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
But,
so anyway, switching gears from the Olympics, you kind of steal my story, Hutch, but that's okay. I was going to say something about the thing about that Republican who heard supposedly through wherever he heard it from that the military was going to require people that were going into the military or were already there to get jabbed. And I hope that bill that he introduced to prohibit that, I hope it goes through.
I do too. I mean, I don't know if it will. You know, one of the things that I'm optimistic about, which that's a new theme at the show, man. I ask every co-host that every night, and I think you're seeing the weakness of the Democrat caucus in the federal government right now. I mean, now I'm not saying they're not doing damage; they are, but they're not doing damage they're not doing the damage that they could if they would have had a bigger majority. Okay. You know what I mean? True. And you're seeing. I thought that story about Judge Benitez was just great. You know, you beat him in California, man. That's how you do it. Take it to him, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, if you get the Ninth Circuit to rule in your favor in any way, shape, or form, you've just performed a miracle.
Yeah.
No kidding. That's
somebody needs to call the Vatican.
No, don't call the Vatican.
No
call somebody else.
They're the only ones that can. Yeah, well, they're the only ones that can declare it a miracle.
Okay. All right, yeah, see, you're more, you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about the Vatican these days. They've got some issues, but I won't go there.
Yeah, but I think they're the only ones who can actually declare something a miracle. I mean, they actually have their own, like, CSI police force that goes out to
they got an army
or prove a miracle. Yeah, well, they has their own army, yeah. But, I mean, if someone were to say, okay, you know, this statue's eyes are bleeding or whatever, they send these guys from the Vatican, and they're like the Vatican CSI, and they verify whether or not that's a true miracle. They don't do a whole lot of work, but they do have them.
Okay. I didn't know that. But they had people that actually went out and verified some of this stuff, but it makes sense.
It's amazing the stupid crap I know, Marlene.
I can believe it. I can believe it. And on a lighter note, those were great. Those were nice kayaks. A couple pictures up, and those were nice. And I loved where you guys were this weekend. I was telling David, I showed him the pictures, and I said, that'd be a fun place to go.
Oh, that's great.
Gorgeous up there.
Very,
yeah.
very close to what put the Democrat Party on its road to insanity. This is where oil was discovered in the world first. Well, in the United States first.
Oh, wow.
Very close to here.
Wow.
Very close to here in a place called
I'll be dang.
Titusville, PA. Was where, if you've ever seen any Pennzoil products, that still comes from Titusville. And the state tree is actually a oil well, an oil derrick. You go. There are literally.
I believe it. That's funny.
There are literally millions of them in the forest. If you drive down any logging road, you'll see turnoffs on both sides, and it's just a little lane that goes back about 50 feet, and there's a holding tank and a pump. You know, a drill. You know, with a derrick, I think they're called.
Yeah.
But they're everywhere.
No, I don't know if it's derrick on land. I know it's derrick if it's out in the
whatever it's called. They're out there, and you can also
the oil pumping thing.
Yeah, and you can smell. And the thing I don't understand is that people have told me. Well, I know for a fact that natural gas has an additive in it added by man to make it smell the way it does.
Yeah, so it doesn't kill you.
And it's heavier than the actual gas. So if you ever run your natural gas out, or liquid propane anyway, for me, out, which I did one time, your whole place smells like that smell. And it smells like it's going to blow up. It's not, but it's because it was all down at the bottom. But I know that I've walked through the forest and smelled that. Because there's a lot of gas up here, too. And there's overland gas pipes, like 1.5 inch metal pipes. They're all rusted now, but running like a foot on top of the ground, like.
And I'm sure that some of them have holes in them, all just from being old pipes. And you probably are smelling actual gas.
That's what I figured it was, because there are places that are tapped into those things, camps that are tapped into them. I mean, Americans don't play, man. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. I should say Americans do play. They come out here and do what they can. You know what I mean? Whatever. I've seen some of I should go around and just take pictures of individuals. I think I'm going to do that. That's going to be one of my projects this summer. I'm just going to go around and take pictures of random camps, because a lot of people. Have you ever come out this way, Ward?
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
So you know that.
Yeah, I was just out there last Friday.
Okay, so you know how camps are in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And, I mean, people will put some freaking pallets together and put a roof on it, and it's a camp. Absolutely. Some of the stuff you see is really cool, man. And then there's other people that go to the extreme and put, like, helicopter landing pads. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the whole gamut. The whole gamut. It's really nice. I mean,
boy.
Well, yeah, dude, that's cool. It sounds like a project. We could put that on the Facebook page.
Damn
right. We'll have a photo album for it.
That sounds good. I'll start getting them. I'll take my Polaris.
And anybody out there, you know, we'll call them camp pictures or something.
Yeah, make sure you say where they are.
Absolutely. Give us it doesn't have to be, actual.
Yeah, not the road.
Specific location.
Right.
Just give us a state.
Yeah, that
state
sounds fun.
Location would be cool enough. Yeah.
By the way, that Polaris, I got just something that people don't realize, or maybe you don't realize. I certainly didn't. When I hear Polaris, I think about snowmobiles. But I got this 4x4.
Normally, I would too.
I think about nuclear missiles.
Okay. But my son's telling me, my son's a big motorcycle guy, and he told me that Indians were the motorcycle Indian, the American-made answer to the Harley.
Yeah.
Is made. That's the same people that make the Indian make the Polaris. It's American-made. And, man, it's funner than hell, too. I got to tell you. I got a video. Jen might have put it up already. I
thought Harley Davidson bought Indian.
No, Indians made by Polaris. Either Indian or Triumph. It's got to be Indian. No, it's got to be Indian. He told me I mean, somebody could research
Yeah,
it.
because
but-
Triumph isn't United States.
No, that's
it's a
England.
U.S. company. Yeah, exactly. Triumph's England. So if
Yeah.
it's a U.S. company,
It's got to
it would
be
have
Indian.
to be.
Yeah, it's Indian. And I don't know if that happened recently or what, but I know I love the machine, man. It does work, man. Does it work hard? I've been putting it through. I did more work physically in the last 2 months than I did in the last 5 years. You know, my physical condition has changed so dramatically that I've been I've been up here for a couple of weeks, I think.
At least.
I've been up here
Good
for a
week or
while,
10 days.
and I've been working every day. Well, I wasn't working real hard while my wife was here. We were recreating. It was fun too.
Well,
we,
you
had a
should
good
be.
time. We had a good time.
Oh, I bet.
I took Jack's advice. I said on Friday, well, this weekend I'm going to go over and try to get all this old equipment, the other equipment back, and get the studio up. He's like, oh man, it's 4th of July weekend. Don't worry about that. And I didn't. I didn't worry about any of it. I turned this sucker on about an hour before the show. You know, and got it ready. So, anyway, Marlene, anything else going on? How was your Independence Day out there?
Well, my independence was pretty quiet. The sad part is that I didn't see a lot of. I don't know. I just when we were, we didn't go anywhere. We stayed home, but I didn't really see any people out. Any people really doing anything.
Wow.
It was weird, and of course I think part of it too was because supposedly because of these, and I don't consider them high temperatures or not. To me, it's like it's summer. Who cares?
Right.
But all these climate change wackos are, they're all screaming about, oh, you can't have fireworks if you're in the neighborhood, past a certain area, in town, which is I'm part of because I'm south of there. And I'm just like, this is fall.
Well, you know what National Geographic says. I mean, 4th of July fireworks are racist because smoke disproportionately affects black people. That's what National Geographic says.
I believe it. I don't even I haven't seen that. I don't even touch that magazine.
Freaking
I remember in the old days it used to be fun, but it's disgusting now.
Well, back in the early 70s, that was our porno.
Exactly. That's the only place we could see boobs.
I know that. I know.
Especially
now they were
school.
They were Nigerian.
I went to a Catholic school. That was the only shot I had.
Right.
I bet.
It was either that or look up at the clouds.
Yeah.
And be like, look at that, man. Look at that cloud right there. Whoa.
Well, see, that's the thing that the kids these days.
That was more fun.
That's the thing kids these days don't get. They don't have that kind of imagination. Because they just go look up porn on the internet.
Right.
We had
you had to work.
We had to work for it, man.
Man, I remember there was a drug store that had a magazine section that was on my way to work. On my way to school, rather. And they used to get delivered all their magazines on a Wednesday, early in the morning.
Okay.
And I'd go by there, I'd look left and look right. And I'm like, all right, let me see what. Take a knife and cut the thing that bands them together. Look through there. I was a criminal, folks. I just was. And there ain't no changing that.
But I'm happier.
That's why they sent me to Central.
And that's why he had to go to the Army.
Yeah, that too.
That was it. That was his only option: the Army or prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of criminals, I was listening to what was his face? I guess Sammy the Bull has a podcast. And,
Sammy the Bull
he does have a podcast. He's a skinny prick now. He's a skinny fucker anymore. Excuse my language.
He is.
How in the hell?
But I can understand. Well, I guess what he was talking about was I was watching a couple episodes or listening to them, and then I saw part of a filmed interview where he talked about it. He ended up losing all his hair and stuff because supposedly he got sick while he was in prison or something. He spent make it clear.
He spent quite a lot of time.
He spent like 22 years
in solitary.
Yeah.
But he spent a lot of that time in the hole.
Well,
right.
The thing was, the thing with Gravano was he'd gotten clemency basically initially.
Well, he did. Yeah,
and then
he did.
For ratting out John Gotti.
5 years and 26 murders. 5 years for 26
and then he
murders.
talked about why.
Then he went to Arizona,
in fact,
and him and his kids
Right.
were selling ecstasy. And he got nailed.
great.
And they brought it to him.
Yeah.
They brought the and probably what happened is probably somebody in the Gambinos or the Genovese probably got to the crooked-ass DOJ and paid somebody to make sure he went to prison for a long time. Because the DOJ is no better than the Gambinos.
No, they're not. And I still can't have yet to find that interview that the part that you played. But he was talking about in the podcast why he flipped, and it was because he felt that Gotti had betrayed him.
Well, he did.
And Gotti even admitted that.
No, he did. They played the tapes. He was blaming all the murders on Sammy. He was blaming all the murders on Sammy. And I'm not saying that Sammy was a good guy. He's a scumbag.
But he killed a bunch of people.
26 that people know about.
Well, that he admitted to.
Right.
Right.
But
I think there were more, but regardless, it was, but he was talking about directly how he said, I heard those tapes, and he and Gotti were in the same prison cell, and at one point, Gotti says, well, I'm blaming it on you because I'm, the boss gets out and all this kind of crap, and Sammy's like, the hell with you, I'm gonna flip.
He knew what time it was. I mean, the thing is, back in the day, see, Gotti messed the whole thing up. I mean, he's the one that messed it up, not Gravano. Gravano was. I mean, I don't know.
Really?
How do you know? I mean, they're all.
They're all.
The thing about it is,
they're all messed up.
Most of the time, not all the time, because there are ways that they get in your life and get in your face. But most of the time, if you get involved with them, it's you getting involved with them that starts it. It's not like you're just living your life and they're going to mess with you. You know what I mean? It's
no. He
prices
to be involved in that life.
Prices of things in New York, especially, and other Democrat-controlled shitholes. There's taxes. There's mob taxes on stuff. You had to pay more money for concrete per cubic yard in New York and in Atlantic City and in Philadelphia. And in New Orleans and different places, and in Miami. I mean, you could trace that building collapse in Miami to Santo Trafficante. In Miami,
very possible.
The mob boss. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They didn't care. They don't care about 2021. They cared about 1919 or whatever. Whenever they built that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so your final thoughts, Marlene?
I guess finally, I am kind of, you were saying, well, how do you feel overall? I think in general, I'm a little more positive. I'm feeling a little better. I did get to watch Trump in Sarasota on Saturday. That was, I mean, I don't watch all the priest stuff because that just takes forever, but it was really nice to, to get inspired and just feel like, he still looks good. He's, giving people some hope, a little bit of positive affirmation.
I'm the same way as you.
Listening to all the.
I'm the same way as you with the pre-stuff, man. I mean, like, RSBN's okay, but the commentary on RSBN is not okay. The commentary.
No,
I mean, it's not. There's not like there's anything wrong with it, but it's amateur hour, in my opinion.
It is.
In my opinion.
It is.
And
they're all young kids. They're
but
like
it's not just amateur hour. It's not just amateur hour. It's like a cheerleader squad.
Well, yeah, I agree.
And
so I don't do is I don't either. I have a few times and it's like, come on, people. It's boring. So I kind of wait till they finally get started. The last 10 or 15 minutes, and then I.
Yeah, that's what I do too. And just. So everybody knows, I saw a report. There was a lot of people speculating about why DeSantis wasn't there. And
well, it was
the president,
because he was dealing with Sarasota. He was dealing with the condo. That's why he wasn't there.
And the president said that it was a mutually agreed upon thing. That DeSantis needed to stay working on Miami or what is it, Surfside. Which, by the way,
I thought was perfectly fine.
Ivanka Trump lives in Surfside, or at least has been living there.
Wow.
and spent a lot of money that the media will never tell you about to assist in the recovery, up which it's not a recovery anymore. It's whatever the other word is.
No, it is recovery. It's rescue first. Then
okay, so it's right. They gave up on. I mean, you ain't gonna live under that for that long.
Yeah.
Oh, Marlene, while we got you on the phone, I got a quick question for you. The skit we did last week, yay or nay?
Yes.
Would you like to see them kind of things again? Or
I honestly, I thought it was pretty funny, and I figured out it was you. I just knew.
Yeah.
I figured it out right away.
You think I got a big staff or something?
we had one of our interns come in and
yeah, right. I had somebody come in from Connecticut.
So
we put him up at the Hilton Hotel downtown.
That's hilarious. That was hilarious.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask.
No, it was funny.
All right.
I thought you did pretty good too, Ward. That was good. All right, Marlene.
If we wanted to do that again.
Nice for
calling.
calling.
We want to do something like that again.
All right. So Marlene
I'll let you guys go.
from Eugene. If you want to call the show, 412-206-6208. Ken was in there, but he fell off, man. I don't know. Did they lose power down in Virginia? I don't know. Give us a call, folks.
Maybe his phone died from being on hold for so long.
It's possible, but Marlene got a lot to say, man. You know,
I understand.
You get in there behind Marlene, man. You got to wait. You know, it's just the way it is.
You may want to plug that phone in and let it charge a bit.
Right. I'm not hanging up on her. You know what I mean? The most popular president in history, in United States history, Ward, Biden's 4th of July speech gets 10,000 views on the White House YouTube channel. That's amazing. You know what's completely sad about that? I have episodes of Restaurant Food Fast that have more than 10,000 views. Nice. I still can't find them damn things. I still can't find. You need to get me a link to that. I love that show, man.
I'm on it.
That's the reason that I know you. It was that and that Average Joe show. That was a good one too.
Yeah,
that got a little old though. Is it still going on? I don't think it is.
I don't know because he asked me to come back and I blew him off.
He was a little. He had a lot of rules, didn't he?
Yeah, he was very. You can't say this, you can't say that, and I start tripping over myself, and
I'll never.
Because it's one of them things where I didn't want to say that until you told me I couldn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, this show is about crazy stuff, and they didn't do it on purpose, but 90% of the stories came out of Florida.
Yeah, well, that was the thing because we used a like an aggregator that would just get us news, crazy stories. It was called FARC, FARK.com, and they had a section that was just dedicated to Florida.
Oh,
and
so
when
it was on purpose.
Florida, yeah, you go into the Florida ones, and it was just low. It was like the Chicago report. It's like every crazy thing that happens in this place, in this country, is in Florida, man. And the thing is, if you would,
people eating other people's faces off and stuff. It was wild.
That was crazy stuff.
It was nuts, man.
That was what was it?
That
I can't remember.
salts,
it was some kind of
salts.
drug. Yeah, bath salts. Yeah, that was it. The story that we had that ran for like ever, and that became like the running joke, was the Octomom.
Yeah. I remember that. She had about 12 kids
Octomom.
or 8 kids, whatever it was.
8. She had 8 at one time, and she is completely insane.
And she didn't even look that good. They tried to make pornos of her and stuff, and it's like,
well, they did that, but it was like
Lisa
like
Dunham.
a water ride. I don't know.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Oh, thank you for that. But yeah, but that was back when we were into comedy before we took all this stuff serious. And then
that's why I was wondering about the whole skit thing. If we could just put a little bit of humor in.
I like having a little bit, but I think we have a purpose now. That's there's a place that we got to go, and we can add some humor to it for sure. If you look over the years, it's evolved, not too much, but it's evolved a little bit. And right now, I've never had as much of a stable group of people that are in the show, involved with the show. By the way, ladies and
You
gentlemen,
mean that show up or stable, right?
yeah,
As
show
in-
up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that are here, that are
That
still
kind
here
of
after.
stable.
I mean, how long have you been on the show after? I know you were on from the beginning, but when you came back, you've been on here more than a year.
All right. Well, I'm just talking about that stable thing.
I'm saying there's
words
not
like
as much
stable
turbulence.
Confuse me and scare me.
There's not as much turbulence of losing co-hosts every 2 weeks or whatever, like some other shows that I know about. We've been pretty stable, and with that, Mona's on vacation till the middle of the month, so we're not going to have any guests, and that's all right. It's actually takes a little of the pressure off sometimes. I mean, I love the guests, don't get me wrong, but when I'm up here, and this is going away, by the way. Every show it goes away a little bit more. We haven't had any meltdowns for a while, and that's really good, man. Because it gives me a lot more freedom, Ward, to be able to. I mean, when you have a place out here, the forest is constantly fighting you. You have to beat back the freaking jungle, man, or it'll eat your place. And so, you know, a lot of this stuff is more than 1 day projects. You know, so it's nice to be able to come up here and, like, I think after my surgery, the first 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5, that I came out here for 1 night and went back to the city. You can't get done. You cut the grass, maybe, yeah. And it's, but now it's a lot better. 412-206-6208. We used to have a lot of callers, but I guess everybody's worn out or something like that. Attorney.
Well, they might have had an extensive 4th of July.
That's true. That's possible.
They may be hungover. You know,
possible.
God bless them.
I'll tell you, I'm so glad that the merchants out here are getting a break, man. The people were just. I think I went down to this, and this has happened in several of these little towns. There's a town way down the river called Tionesta that had a grocery store there, and it closed down about 2.5, 3 years ago, and it opened back up. I think it was in the wintertime, but it started slow. And I went in there last week, and man, it's booming now. They got like deli items. They had Isley's chipped ham, man. I was like, yeah, let me get a pound of that. That's an all-American thing right there. That'll last me for, I could survive on that pound of Isley's chipped ham. And I mean, I took a little bit of it and put it in some barbecue sauce. But see, I can't eat that much, so it's like 4 meals for me.
Oh, that's right.
So it's like 4 for me when you add the bun. But I made some of it in the barbecue, made a couple. There's nothing better than just a regular chipped ham sandwich with mayonnaise or mustard, either way. So I had a couple of those. But it's just booming, you know, stuff that you couldn't do with just a camp store. They got the whole, they got the whole, you know, all the different lunch meats in there, not just that.
And that tells you that they're getting some kind of turnover too. You know, where the people are coming back.
That's the point. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's go to the
there's
phones.
No way they could afford it.
Right. Let's go to the phones. Unknown caller. Who do we got there?
Hello, it's me. Hello.
Is this Regina? Regina, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I'm glad you had a good 4th of July.
Did you?
Yeah. Walking around the neighborhood, watching the students act the fool.
UVA, huh? What were they doing? Were they hating on America?
Oh, no, they were shooting off fireworks, acting crazy.
Oh, all right. Did they have a lot of ambulance calls? Because they're not very good at stuff like that.
Being in college and all.
No ambulance call.
That's
so
awesome.
they were shooting off fireworks in the backyard and stuff like that.
Somebody better call the Vatican. That's a miracle.
Or fire calls. I mean, like it because they'll down a couple gallons of Southern Comfort and then start shooting that stuff off.
Oh yeah, they was drunk too. So.
They were drunk. That goes without saying.
Right. especially on the 4th. Virginia's a pretty patriotic country, state, other than some of the Democrat politicians. But I remember going down to Blackstone. You ever heard of Blackstone, Virginia?
Oh yeah, been there.
I've been down there a lot of times. I spent years down there at Fort Pickett, and that place was really patriotic, man. I mean, it was patriotic on the one hand, but it was backwards a little bit on the other hand. In other words, I saw things down there like that were caricature like stuff, like a wino with a brown paper bag.
So what you're saying is that's where they went to design these things. Hey, we
maybe.
need somebody to be a wino. There's a wino. Draw him quick.
I mean, they grew tobacco at the shop, at the army shop, where they were supposed to be fixing tanks. They had a guy who was in charge of the tobacco garden or something.
Yeah, I'm sure that was tobacco too, Hutch.
Anyway, go ahead, Regina.
Nothing for nothing. Just saying.
Oh, I'm gonna mention some food situations now.
All right.
I'm doing something that I have never done before in my lifetime.
Is it safe for children's ears and stuff?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is actual food. Cooking. I'm
Regina's
cooking
kitchen. Go ahead. Sorry.
And in a crock pot.
Okay.
So,
what'd you say? Roast.
So I'm cooking. Yep, roast in a crock pot.
There you go. That's good. I'll tell you the way. I mean, I'm not going to take you. I like Italian beef. So when I take a roast in a crock pot, I do it overnight because I don't want it to be on high. I want it to be on low. So I need a good 12, 14 hours. But I put a roast in there, and then I put a jar of pepperoncinis in there, and a little bit of Italian dressing, and some giardellas. That pepper mixture, it's like peppers, carrots, and there's cauliflower and celery, and it's all chopped up, and it's hot. And man, at the next day, it's pretty good. But go ahead, how are you making yours?
I'm doing mine what I classify as the safe bet way, so I don't damage it. I use the garlic salt and some black pepper.
Okay.
And do a half onion.
What about some au jus or something? Anything to season it besides that?
Just the garlic salt, black pepper.
All right, that works. That would be good.
The onion. That's about it.
All
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to what I call the safe route because this is my first go around.
Okay.
And I didn't want to overdo it.
I got you.
And it turns into a disaster.
It's not gonna. It's gonna be fine, man. I'd throw a couple other things in there. I'd throw some carrots in there, maybe, or a couple potatoes. Something that I would like to eat along with it,
Oh yeah, I got the rice on the side. So,
okay.
So
right,
I got that down.
When are you throwing it in there? Is it in there already?
Oh no, I cook the rice early. That's all I do is wait for the roast to get done.
I mean,
and
is the roast in yet?
It's almost done.
Oh, it's okay. So you can smell it now.
Yeah.
Oh man, are you getting excited?
Oh yeah.
I know, man.
That's when the mouth starts watering.
I know, man. When that crock pot starts getting right, man, when it's almost time, it's like it's almost time.
But I cut it up in slices.
Before you cooked it?
No.
Oh, like
after it's cooked?
No, while it's cooking because it's almost done.
Yeah.
So I cut it up in the slices. Yeah,
with that Italian beef, I took 2 forks and pulled it apart like you pull pulled pork apart. and get it like all shredded, man. And you put it on a bun, and oh man, good stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I've got mine. Mine is not Italian. I got mine from the Kroger's.
This is Virginian, damn it. I got it.
Yeah. I got it from the Kroger's.
All right.
Yeah, so it's one of those situations.
So what's your outlook? I got 15 minutes and I got one more caller. So what's your outlook, going forward? How you feeling? Are you feeling optimistic, pessimistic? How you feeling?
I'm kind of sort of feeling pessimistic because they got so many angles they're coming at us.
Yeah, that's true.
Irritating.
But I mean, do you think that maybe, as opposed to 4 years ago, maybe we can identify them a little bit better now? Like we see them coming at us now.
Oh yeah, we can see them. We can see them though, but then you got the Republicans trying to sideswipe you, and you're like going, what the hell?
That's true.
Well, and most of those Republicans are rhinos in the first place, what's her name? The Cheney. Did you see that she's going to be? Yeah, did you see that they want her for the new? What are they calling it? The January 6th commission.
She's Nancy Pelosi's daughter, man. I mean, come on. I can't believe Dick Cheney, all that service he did, all the millions of dollars he made, and he's screwing the country through his daughter like this.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Well, the thing is, whatever she's going to do, she's going to have to do quick because people in Wyoming aren't going to reelect her.
No, all 12 of them are going to say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she needs to go back to licking cats. That's her thing.
Regina, I always love when you call, man. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoy your roast. Let us know. See ya.
Okay, I will.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Vern. My man Vern in New Jersey. Man, he never pumped his own gas. He lives in New Jersey. You're not allowed to pump your own gas there. What's going on, Vern?
That is correct. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
How was your Independence
I've lived in a lot of
Day,
states. It was great. I kept it low key. Just tried to observe what was going on around the area and what was going on nationally. I think a lot of people are starting to come back. We're not there yet.
Boy, we are up here, man. I never saw anything like it up here.
Yeah. People are starting to come out. Now that you notice that people are starting to come out and are more vocal about it, now all of a sudden they're putting out this whole thing about this Delta strain. And, well, we better temper this because we may have to go back to what we did last year and stuff.
They hate us. They hate us. They hate themselves.
See, that's the issue. They have to do that because they quit scaring everybody.
You watch the difference. You watch the difference between Independence Day and Labor Union Day. Labor Day, there will be no restrictions. Zero. The government will be out because that's a communist holiday. Labor Day has always been a bullshit holiday for me. Because you look at who talks. Richard Trumka, Joe Biden. He was the big talker, Ward, almost every year for us in Pittsburgh on Labor Day. Watch the difference. Anyway, Vern, go ahead. What else did you notice, observe, whatever? Because New Jersey's pretty much locked down a little bit more than Pennsylvania. Not much, but a little bit more.
This is a slave state to end all slave states right here. This guy we have now, Murphy, he was Wolf and Kumo's lapdog. That's all he was.
All right.
And he continued, and he just continues on. He's open. The only reason he's opening our state up more and more is because people are starting to get fed up with it, and they're calling him out. all of this stuff that we've had open up recently, he's done kicking and screaming. Even some of the Democrats here.
Wasn't he the one, like, at the beginning of the pandemic that had the gym owner arrested?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, because I thought that was Jersey.
Which is not far from me. And that was a farce in itself. But this guy, he's coming along kicking and screaming because he really wants to have us really basically like we were last summer. He really does. And now the state legislature is looking at limiting the government's power in this state, and
they did that here too.
Happy.
They did that here too. Did that work, Ward? Did they get that done?
Which one's that?
With Wolf limiting his power in emergencies.
Oh yeah, that was passed into the Constitution.
Right.
Of
Okay.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, that was enacted, and that's when his how did it go? Because right after the election, they said that he that the bill had passed or whatever, but it was going to be like 60 days before it actually goes into effect. So he renewed the emergency powers.
Okay.
Again, after the election, that said we're going to limit your powers. So that lasted until it actually went into effect. And then when it actually went into effect was the same time as the mask mandate lifted and all that other crap.
Got it.
Well, they're looking to limit his powers too, and he's not happy about that. But this is typical of these Democrat slave owners, if you want to.
Sure,
that's what they are. That's what they are.
And that's what they want.
Yes, it is exactly what they want. They want to keep people down, and they want to keep them just dependent on the government.
Absolutely.
They want people to be dependent on the government so they can sit around and wait for the government to say, you can do this, you can do that, you can have this, that, and the other thing. And you know what? It's really killing this state.
And
people are leaving this state in droves.
The thing that scares them the most, other than the fact that we're going to kick their doors down and drag them out in the street, the other thing that scares them is when they say something and we say F you. When they say there's a mask mandate and we say, fuck your mask. That's what scares them. That's why they're lifting the mask mandates, because we're saying, screw your mask. Excuse my language, folks.
That's exactly right. No, but that's right. That's what he had to do here, because everybody was saying, F it. Screw your mask mandate.
That's
screw
right.
your, limiting to 50 people or 10 people to go to a funeral.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
My co-host Stacey Rush, who has gotten out of politics, her father died and she couldn't see him. He was in a facility, and she wasn't allowed, to be with him in his last days. It's freaking barbaric, man. It's barbaric.
That is probably. See, these people need to be brought up on charges.
They
for
do.
Things like that.
They do,
because that is just. Yeah, that just. I couldn't understand it. If you have a family member in a hospital, and unfortunately, I had a brother-in-law who passed away during the pandemic, and we could not literally. There could only be 10 people there.
Yeah, it's that whole thing,
and it was all fake. That's the worst part. It was all government bullshit,
that's what's coming
politics, fake. Because
and I think that's where the backlash is going to come.
I think so too. I mean, I'm living proof. I went through from 8 to 10. I mean, from 1 to 10. I went through a number 8 surgery, a serious surgery. And for the first 5 days, when I had that tube in my nose that went all the way down to my stomach, I didn't have a mask on, and I was walking around everywhere at the VA hospital. It was all bullshit. The whole thing was bullshit.
And you know what, Hutch? In about 5 years, 3 or 5 years from now, and people are doing studies about all this crap that we just went through and this, that, and the other thing. You know what? It's going to come out.
People ought to be put in prison. In prison.
It's going to come out. It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what? It's going to come out. And you know what it's going to come out, and you know what? There's going to be such a hue and cry.
Yep.
And see, the Democrats don't realize this.
They don't.
See,
that's what
the
I
one
was
thing
saying
about
earlier. You know what you're talking about. That's what I was saying earlier.
These Democrats, you know what these leftists do, and Democrats and some liberals, but the leftists and the Democrats in general, you know what? They think about today. They don't think about the long run.
And they think,
no.
and you know what else?
Right.
They think that everybody's like them. That's how
Correct.
stupid they are. They
Well,
in
yeah.
their little peanut brains, they think that everybody is like in the campus of Harvard, and 90% of us are not.
Well, what's funny, if you think about it, if you remember back when I was in high school in the 80s, they told us that it was the next ice age.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's no way we can avoid the next ice age. It's going to be, you know, just terrible. It's devastating.
And what was the
blah, blah,
answer?
blah.
What was the answer? Money, 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 money. You got to tax.
Exactly, but it was the same thing.
And then they changed it.
It was global cooling.
And they changed it to global warming. They changed it to global warming. And what was the answer? Tax.
Because nothing froze.
Right.
Because nothing froze. They're like, oh, shit, nothing froze. Oh, that's because of global warming. The global warming prevented the global cooling.
Right.
So now we need somebody
doing
to
that whole thing.
level that out.
If you remember doing that whole thing, remember by the year 2000, half of us were supposed to be dead?
Oh,
we're supposed to be underwater.
Oh, the polar bears are gone, man. No more polar bears.
Right. There was supposed to be beachfront property in Pittsburgh by the year 2000 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's crazy.
But the thing is, nobody looks back on that. Goes back to nobody looks back on history and says, "Hey, remember when they said this?"
They don't teach history. They don't teach it anymore, man. This freaking I'll tell you the biggest thing that we could do to advance America is to abolish labor unions in education. Labor unions should be abolished from education, from everything in education.
Absolutely.
Actually, they should be abolished from everything in public service. In police, in fire, the labor unions ought to be gone.
Yeah.
And now there's some when you have somebody, if you know somebody in law enforcement, you see how I did it? I tried to be like Giuliani. I said law enforcement. No. Or the fire service. You know, you got to have protection from the Democrats for the employees. You know, because they'll say that a firefighter is racist because this guy died and this guy didn't. And he was just trying to drag him out of the house. You know, so there is a medium that you got to meet there. But you know, in education, there's none. There's none in education. These are the least working people in our country. Teachers work for what, 8 months?
You got it. Well, I tell you what, for us to get this country back to where it should be, we have got to take back our schools.
Yeah.
And we've got to take back the courts and the court system.
And our families. We got to take our families back.
Well,
man.
that's number one. That is number one that Democrats and leftists don't want to talk about. That should be done without being said. That should be done without being said.
Think of all the young people in our, economically trashed communities. Think of all the wasted talent there. All the people that could be making the world better. But no, they have world-class crack freaking distribution ring or whatever. When they could be selling lawnmowers or so, you know what I mean? They could be inventing stuff.
But you know what? But see, these Democrat and leftist people who are in charge do this willingly to keep these people down.
Oh, absolutely.
That's true. That's so true, man.
And they entice them to not go to school. What do you need school for? Go be a gangbanger, whatever. You don't need that.
Well, they're teaching
because
you
they're easier
oppression.
to control because they're not taught critical thinking.
I mean, you talk to a kid.
They're taught to listen to the news.
You talk to a kid in the inner city and you can't understand what the frick he's saying.
Well, there's that.
Well,
they can't even talk.
they encourage kids not to go to school and succeed because they tell them they're going to fail anyway.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. They tell them they're going to fail. So they say, why bother?
And then that makes it easier for them to control them and say, hey, look,
Correct.
I'll give you welfare for you to just sit on your ass and do absolutely nothing.
That's right. All right, Vern.
Exactly.
Vern,
Daddy
we're up to
Joe,
the time.
take care of you.
We got to go, brother. I appreciate you calling, man.
All right, brother. You
Thank
guys have
you.
a good night.
You too,
Take it
man.
easy, man.
We'll see you next time. All right, my man Vern from New Jersey. A couple quick things before we go here. Attorney Matt DePerno reported this morning on the Bannon War Room that there is a security breach at the registration servers in Arizona on November 3rd, 2020. The corrupt Secretary of State Katie Hobbs knew about this as well as the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, but they kept it hidden. Stay tuned for that. Final story, Massachusetts State Police said 11 people, and this is, remember, ladies and gentlemen, the DOJ and the Attorney General, they said that white supremacists are the threat that America faces. Massachusetts State Police said 11 people who were arrested following an hours-long armed standoff that partially shut down I-95 on Saturday claimed membership of the group Rise of the Moors, which police said calls itself a militia and follows sovereign citizens' ideology. They hate the U.S. government, and they're multiplying. The terrifying rise of sovereign citizens, police said the group claims to adhere to Moorish sovereign ideology. The Southern Poverty Law Center, there's a good operation, which monitors extremist groups in the
Very
U.S.,
trustworthy.
right, says the Moorish sovereign citizen movement is a collection of independent organizations and individuals that emerged in the 90s as an offshoot of the anti-government sovereign citizens movement. People in the movement believe individual citizens hold sovereignty over and are independent of federal and state governments. The only difference about this one is that they're black, Ward, not white, as far as white supremacists. But anyway, great show, sir.
They're the darkest white supremacists we've ever seen.
They are, and it's just the way it is. I don't know.
It's like a cult, man. That's
It's
what it sounds
amazing,
like.
man.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. So I'm sure you're going to get something ready for next Monday.
Yeah,
so
I think I'll throw
have
something
some
together.
fun. I'm going to start taking some camp pictures, and I
Outstanding.
hope everybody else does too. And I would ask you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still listening, tell somebody that never listened to the show about the show. I want to grow this a little bit more, man. We're at the same level. We're doing well. Don't get me wrong, but I want to double it.
But there's always room for improvement.
That's right, man. I want some more bandwidth. But give me some internet problems out here. Give me some problems. That's what I want. I want some problems. Make me run a Verizon Fios cable on my back across to one of these little towns. Anyway, Ward, how can people get in touch with you, sir? Great show.
You just put the gooch on us, man. What are you doing?
Oh, what'd I do? I do something wrong?
You just put the gooch on us.
Okay. The gooch?
Worrying about the gooch when you're talking about having to pull cables and stuff.
Oh,
That's- That's the gooch, man.
The gooch.
You never gooch it. Anyway, you can post messages for me. Post stuff on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Cold War Radio 22. Post your pictures, camp pictures like Hutch. See if you can add more pictures, and everything will be cool.
It will. All right, Ward. Thank you very much, brother. Always appreciate it. Man, I guess that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give you a little song, and then we'll get out of here.
Born to those who pledged their lives in sacred honor, was smiled upon by God and freed from chains and iron collar. He is held aloft on unity and by history revered for preserving peace through strength. His wings now reach across 200 years. But for each of those in 1 year more, God has smiled upon the core, from the Barbary coast to the eastern sand, by sword, by gun, or by bare hand. So it's been and shall be weighed. Though many are born, few are made. Faithful always they shall remain. Dogs to loose when war is waged.
Good night, Chesty.